Hello, it's Andrew Major, solution-focused hypnotherapist. Now, if you've ever experienced anxiety or you're living with anxiety, you'll only be too aware of the intense emotional impact that this can have on your life. Anxiety can build up gradually, of course, over time, or even happen suddenly because of a life-changing event, trauma, or even illness. Now, anxiety causes tension, chronic worry, and even physical changes like increased blood pressure, chest pains, and dizziness. And anxiety is so common, and it's one of the most common reasons that my clients seek out support these days. Now, according to the World Health Organization, 1 in 13 people globally are suffering with anxiety. And of course, that's only been made worse by the recent pandemic. The problem is that anxiety makes everyday life a real struggle. It affects how you interact with the world, and you often end up avoiding things and situations out of worry. But the good news is that it doesn't have to be that way, because change is possible. So in this video, I'm going to be explaining why we suffer with anxiety and how hypnotherapy actually works to help you overcome it, so you can recover and get the real you back again. So what is anxiety? Why do we get anxious? Well, if we look back to our ancestors back in primitive times, the root of anxiety is all about survival, because anxiety is essentially the emotion that keeps us alive. It's our body's natural response to stress, and that's what kept us alert to danger back in primitive times when we were dragging food back to our caves, competing with other tribes, more aware than ever of our surroundings and how much danger we could be in. And so by worrying about the potential threats we may face ahead of time, we would have been prepared to fight or run away. So anxiety is what helped us survive and eventually thrive, evolving into modern day humans as we evolved and protected ourselves. So if our brains perceive a threat or danger, either real or imagined, it releases hormones to prepare us to run away, to fight, or to freeze. Stress hormones, adrenaline and cortisol, they make us feel more vigilant. They make our hearts beat faster, so our blood is sent to where it's needed when we're under attack. It's a great system, but our society has evolved a lot quicker than our brains really in recent years. And sometimes the system gets activated when there's no physical danger. So it responds in the only way that it knows how, as though it's being chased by a bear. It means we end up internalizing the feelings about our situation. We find our hearts pounding at the thought of having to do something new or challenging, with no idea how to make it stop. The problem is, anxiety becomes a mental health issue when it gets in the way and affects your daily life. There may be certain things which act as a trigger, or you may just have a constant level of anxiety and stress hormones throughout the day. And the ongoing worry or fear of anxiety can actually feel completely debilitating too, because it affects us emotionally and physically. So the emotional and physical sensations that we often experience with anxiety include things like rising panic, our guts churning, we might get a racing heart, feel sweaty, chest pains, problems sleeping, feeling nauseous, our breathing rate increasing as we grind our teeth. There's lots of things going on, but they all feel very real and very scary at times too, and that just creates more anxiety for us. So if you recognize any of these symptoms, it's really important to take action, because they can lead to more specific issues and disorders, which I'm going to go into in more detail in future videos. But the most common things that I tend to work with, the most common disorders which come up in my practice, include general anxiety disorder. Now that leaves you feeling very anxious and worried about almost any situation, rather than anything specific. And that tends to leave you trapped in a cycle of negative thinking. Social anxiety comes up a lot, a persistent and overwhelming fear of social situations, leaving you fearful in engaging with people in everyday activities, and that could be things like shopping or even just speaking on the phone, because it causes you to worry excessively about dealing with people before, during and afterwards. Panic attacks are often a common issue with anxiety disorders, because it can leave you feeling completely out of control, producing very real physical symptoms, from a rapid increase in your heart rate to a churning stomach sensation. These physical things are natural, completely unpleasant, and often sets off a cycle of worry and fear about experiencing a further panic attack. So now we understand how and why anxiety happens. How do we actually stop it? Well, there are lots of things that people often try before we work together. And those things are great ways to calm anxiety. 7-11 breathing is a great technique to calm things down. And that's when you breathe out for longer than you breathe in. And that calms down the fight or flight response in your body. It engages the parasympathetic nervous system, your rest and digest system. That's a really simple but a very powerful technique. Progressive muscle relaxation, tensing and relaxing different groups of muscles, is all too easy not to notice how tension is rising in our bodies, and this technique allows us to recognize it and consciously let it go. Meditation and mindfulness are powerful tools for managing anxiety, and they allow you to really be in the moment, noticing any difficult thoughts or emotions but not getting involved with them, acknowledging them but letting them flow past like twigs in a river current. Accepting that a thought exists without accepting that it's right, or even challenging those thoughts, where is the evidence, or replace them with new coping thoughts. And journaling is a great technique here, writing down your anxieties, then evaluating how likely they are to happen and what you can do about them. It can help us avoid catastrophizing, thinking about everything that's going to go wrong. These are some really useful coping strategies, and I particularly like the breathing exercises. They always calm things down. So in my therapy practice, I use solution-focused hypnotherapy. It combines talking therapy with hypnosis, and it will also help you understand that the symptoms of anxiety are a completely normal response to stress. And so brain-based therapy is an integral part of the process because it helps you understand why you're feeling a certain way and what you can begin to do about it. So you'll actually learn how the mind works in a very, very simple way, and you'll find out more about the two parts of your brain, the intellectual part and the primitive part, and how they're affected by our stress response, which allows anxiety to take over. It's important because all of the thoughts that we have in life as we experience real or imagined threats raise our anxiety levels, and it can become overwhelming if we're not able to find a way of managing it in our day-to-day life. So solution-focused hypnotherapy helps you reduce your internal anxiety and stress naturally as we work together. And that helps you gain more perspective and process those anxieties in a better way without resorting to all the unhelpful coping strategies such as avoiding things, alcohol, comfort eating, and even self-harm. And so this new perspective can help you sleep better and make better positive life choices too, taking that exercise, changing your eating habits. You'll learn how to harness your imagination in a more helpful way to reduce your stress levels, increase your positive experience in your day-to-day life by helping you find ways to become more physically active, for example, and re-engage with the people and the things that you normally enjoy. Most importantly, we're focused on how you want things to be. What will be different for you when you feel more in control of your thoughts and your feelings? It means that we don't dwell on the past or try to analyze things, so we always keep things nice and positive in therapy. And all in all, hypnotherapy is a very much a collaborative process, a supportive process whereby your therapist and you really embark on that journey together to create that positive change. When we finish doing the talking part, we then use hypnosis, where you get yourself nice and comfortable and you begin to relax deeply. So as you do that and you listen, you'll be asked to imagine certain things, and that produces a hyper-relaxed state of focus, engaging your subconscious mind to hardwire the changes that we've discussed. It's a bit like guided daydreaming, where you can hear everything that's being said around you whilst remaining completely in control. A really pleasant way to switch off your anxiety state for half an hour and to give you space to consider other responses. And also over time, the positive suggestions which are made allow you to begin building new, more constructive neural pathways in your brain to help you think and behave more positively. As with anything, creating lasting positive change requires some practice and repetition, so you'll often need a number of hypnotherapy sessions to create the changes that you're looking for. Typically, in my practice, I would expect to be working with clients anywhere between 6 to 10 sessions initially to help them overcome their anxiety disorder and feel better. But the number of sessions varies for everybody because we're all very different in terms of our emotions and our life experience. Some people choose to stay in therapy for longer periods as part of their self-care regime. Also, others find the initial sessions enough to move forward on their own, which is fantastic news. So I hope you found this useful. Don't forget to visit my website for more helpful resources and support. Please like, subscribe and share, and I look forward to seeing you in a future video.